Us meeting here in the mornings, again, it's for me to start my day, right? For me to get my mind and body activated, and then I'm putting myself in a positive space by having positive conversations with a positive brother. Normally, you know, all we hear about is the shootings and the violence that's happening, because that's what's all on the news. But when we're taking the time out to highlight some of our success stories and, you know, how we get to this point, that's amazing.
You can't halfway do this work. Either you all or nothing. You know, and I dedicated my life to this.
Because once upon a time, we were part of the stench that came out of this community. So who better to come back and right the wrong?
At one point, we were embarrassed to say that we was living in the mud. Today, people bathe in the mud. Today, people use mud as lotion. They understand that it was things inside the mud that makes your skin more, you know, cleaner.
I've really been thinking heavy about the population that we're serving. These youth that we're serving, that's really in the mix, that's really involved with the gangs and the crews, that's really the shooters.
When somebody gets shot or stabbed in the street, the police come at the crime scene, the ambulance come for the patient. Who comes for that individual that want to retaliate, or for those family members that are traumatized? So this is our work. You know, we offer them alternatives and resources. That's our intervention component. Then we have prevention. We swim upstream. We try to stop them from coming into our hospitals. So we do a lot of fun things. We do music, media, fashion, dance, to engage them.
Everybody listen, it's story time. Hang on. I want everybody to bring home their book and their notebook and their to have seen at least one of those rooms. Sound good? All right, y'all.
one day me and him was on the phone for like an hour. I ain't going front. Like, he had me crying because he was like, yo, man, I appreciate you so much. And like, you never gave up on me. Everybody always giving up on me. That's right. Like, yo, that's why I I love you. I fuck with you because you never had to give up on me. And I was on that phone with him, and I was like, damn. Like, I was like, yo, you're making me cry, man.
Yeah, but that's what it takes.
But it was,
you did.
Right. Like, it felt good. We calling on a population of people from the neighborhood who never really was asked to engage in this sort of endeavor before.
But I'm blessed to have people around me to guide me the right way and shit like that. Bro. Real shit.
That's a positive route. That's our motto. Like, if we can get one person a day to change,
right.
That's a blessing.
And that's all we need. Because that one person's gonna reach out to their friends and let them know, hey, they helped me and bring them into it.
A day of no shooting is success for me. Every interruption, every mediation, every intervention that we do is success for me. Every time we go into the hospital and we assist families of victims, every time we go into the schools and stop conflicts from happening, those are success stories for me. And these are the stories that aren't being highlighted at all.
Wounded healer. You know, when you are wounded in the field of battle and you are healing someone who is wounded, you forget about your wounds and you start to see, you know, your blessings and not how you're beaten. And so, you know, I look at those credible messengers that are in the streets now, and I just see this sense of purpose.
They may come in because they're looking for a job, but it's almost like it's layers to it. So they may be looking for a job, but they have other things going on too. And it depends on who they meet when they walk through the door that they start to share. When they begin to share, I want to say that I'm a great listener because I don't interrupt them when they're talking. I listen. I'm passionate about hearing their story. Some of them are just like me. You know, some of them were young parents, homeless, foster care, and I see myself in them. So it's easy for me to sit back and have an open heart. And while they're talking in my mind is racing like, oh, if that person is open, how good this could be.
We're the last to get, you know, the benefits. This is why, unfortunately, you know, we're the first in a lot of those other categories.
Tuskegee Airway used to be known as South Road. South Road was a heavily congested and populated area dealing with prostitution, drugs, stick-ups, all type of stuff that went along with street life.
So the poverty is the bottom belly of the feeder of the crime that we see. And East New York has unfortunately been, familiar with the poverty for far too long.
Just like so many of our youth today, right? Our environment, our culture, what's in front of us, that's usually normally what we want to do, right? So I wanted to be a drug dealer. I wanted to be a criminal at heart, and I didn't even realize it. It was unconsciously, but I wanted what the people outside of my door had. I wanted the cars, I wanted the jewelry, I wanted the fast money, I wanted the women, and this is what I seen. So did I ever think that I would be sitting here healing my community and saving lives and providing resources to my community? No, I would have never thought that in a million years.
What they don't really know is that I think it's in our drinking water. We have the resilience, we have the willpower to overcome obstacles, defeat all odds.
Right, so we had a gunshot victim that came into the hospital, and our hospital responders were seeing the victim, seeing him. And so when he recovered, he came to us and he asked for, he's looking for jobs and opportunities and resources. So first it was construction, we gave him a construction job opportunity. And then he said, I wanna help. The same way y'all came and helped me, I wanna be there for other patients. So I said, you know what, I could hire you. You could become a hospital responder. Because we're looking for credible messengers. And of course, he could relate to other people who've been affected by gun violence. This is why we hired him. So we hired people that's been affected by gun violence. I'm also gonna hire a mom that lost her family member, her son, to gun violence, so she could connect with other families. So it's about hiring these people that's been exposed to that lifestyle and kind of bringing them on board to better service the community, better service the population.
We have to be clear. We can't be subtle about what it is that we're trying to do and accomplish and achieve. We have to be bold. And the mayor really leads from that,
So when you look at this holistic approach that we are putting in place, it is saying we have to catch people on each of these levels and give them the support that they need. Don't let Brad disturb you, man. Just do your thing, man.
That's all I need to hear. That's all I need to hear.
You know what I'm saying?
In the last 20 years, man, this leadership that I'm glad to be a part of has transformed the scenery, the way people look at East New York now. It was, as people in the past would tell you, like a ghetto. Now it's the place to be.
Why did I choose to come back here, right? Yes, it was part of righting the wrong, but this area needed the help.
It is a way to kind of really shine the light and raise awareness on all the great work that certainly the Cure Violence workers are doing on the front lines every day, to really lift up the real ability to create opportunities for people, and particularly young people in these communities that have been really disadvantaged.
When I first got here back in 21, man, there was people still laying out in the middle of the street, people fucked up out of their mind. You know what I'm saying? Blitzed, you know what I'm saying? Because drugs are still being sold heavily right here, right now. You might not see it because it's behind doors or it's behind the scenes, but it's still prevalent and it's happening now. So who better to come back?
When I walk up in the streets, once I start talking, I've been to Bear Hill, I've been to Comstock, I've been to Green. People can relate to that. So it opens doors where most people who never been exposed to that can never understand that language. They ain't gonna break through.
I believe being able to help other people is basically what helped me to learn to cope.
We sit in a circle. That's just introducing, like, we are in some type of healing. And the topic is always different. It could be gun violence. It could be trauma, hurt. It depends. Like, our subject is always different. And then we just open up the floor and everything is on the table. It's an open space. We trust one another, so we don't hold nothing back. The only way we're going to be able to heal each other is we have to put it on the table.
My mother was like 15 when she had my sister, 17 when she had me. My father was like just 2 years older than her. and he got caught up and shot somebody, right? So we talk about gun violence prevention. He's not a bad person, but he made a bad decision.
So my son was shot by a woman on Cortlandt Avenue in 2017. He lost his life. He left a behind 1-year-old.
I'm a survivor myself of gun violence. I got shot in my spine.
Have you got some scars that we can transform into Purple Hearts? You know, battle scars, battle wounds. Have you experienced some things that only you can really describe and define? But not to keep them down on that, right? Not to suppress that, but to show them that that's going to be the very ingredients that's going to help them understand that they can be greater.
The reason why I'm so passionate about this movement, the anti-gun violence, is because in Brownsville, I lost 2 of my brothers in '87, and then another one 4 years after that in '91.
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, I was one of the guys that's on the streets. I got incarcerated at, I turned 21 in prison, and I just had to change my life, and being exposed to that lifestyle. Really, at the age of 6, my aunt was murdered by my uncle. So I was affected by gun violence by an early age, 6 years old. And this kind of makes me passionate about this work, because we didn't have programs like this. My family was traumatized when my uncles, and they was talking about retaliation situations. We didn't have programs or people to turn to like this.
At the age of 12, my father was killed by NYPD, mistaken identity. That's when everything started. Selling drugs, stripping, jumping from one roof to another roof, opening windows, stealing.
Oh, the hurt is like it happened yesterday. To be honest, like when when you get up in the morning, after I thank God for waking me up in the land of the living, and I go to the bathroom before I could brush my teeth, I don't look in the mirror because, as I mentioned, we look so much alike. Sometimes I see their face. "37 years later, I could still hear their voice. Sometimes when I look in the mirror, because we all look so similar, I could still hear, you see they smile. So it was the fact that, I lost them to senseless gun violence, and it shook the family too. My mother became addicted to drugs, trying to cope, father alcohol, and it kind of left myself and my brother like fending for ourselves. And, just that alone was so much trauma and stress, and I believe that's where it started from, the passion, not having people to basically hear me, that I was hurting and I didn't know what to do and who to talk to. And I also was afraid because everybody liked to say that their loved ones was innocent, but they both of them at the time of their senseless murder, they were coming from work.
We're the safest, biggest city. But as clergy, one funeral, we don't tell the parents who have that one funeral that crime is down, right? Because crime is up 100% for that person. Yeah. That's their whole life ahead of them, okay? So if you're going to do a block takeover, if you're going to do Occupy the Corner, if you're just going on the block to talk to people, if you're going to do these prayer walks, don't just go and pray and then leave. Pray prayer needs to work in other ways.
Then they see my transition, me coming from once being a problem, now I'm part of the solution, you know, so.
You were a problem? I have a hard time believing that. I got a hard time believing that.
I mean, back in my time, you know, I had my share.
It's a process, but that willpower that it takes to be able to clear the sky and really sit so the sun can shine through, you know, once that sun shines upon you, you have an opportunity to really see the world for what it is and be part of the world.
I had maybe 20 different crews on this block right here, hustling, getting paper. You know what I'm saying? And all type of other shit was going on right here.
So I've been seeing how y'all been up at Dodge with the kids and all of that, going after school to keep down the violence that's going on in the area. And it'd be so surprising how you would think back 20 years ago, you'd be doing this for the community.
I never had a clue. I never even thought about even doing nothing like this, especially like the walk of life I was living.
Right.
This wasn't even a thought.
Right.
Even in my time in prison, I never even thought about this.
Went to school, got my high school diploma. There's some schools like Catherine Gibbs, TCI, got my nursing from Mandel, computer technology, I got all that. And then it wasn't enough. Nobody wanted to hire a felon. So I had to go back again to the street. Opened my eyes when somebody pointed a gun to my daughter's head, thinking it was me.
You know, I'm a 3-time felon, and again, like, it took that last incarceration for me to realize if I don't get my shit together that I'm gonna continue this cycle.
I consider myself lucky going to jail. I thought that happened to people on TV. It happened to other people, you know, until a friend of mine got tied up. You know, rest in peace, Johnny Wah. You know, he tied him up and, you know, he got killed. So a lot of my friends, associates, are dead or in jail. So my path, I just had to change my route, change my mindset. And I just love the work and just love the outcomes.
I'm able to now help some of the trauma that I put in my community, you know, and they are purposeful, man. These brothers and sisters, they're out there on the front line. I'll never forget one brother I went to see in the hospital. He was shot in East New York, and, you know, someone shot him while he was just, you know, he wasn't even working. He was just going to get something to eat. And he said, listen, I can't I can't wait to get back out there, man, to help. I'm sorry I wasn't able to help this young man. That's purpose.
I mean, I've been involved in the streets for real, in different capacities, and if I could change my life, then anybody could change. And that's the message I really want to put out there. That's the example of me doing this work, showing others that it's possible.
Then once I got into it and I learned like what it was about, and I was just like, okay, wow, like, there's a reason why this came my way. Let me pursue it.
Right.
And, you know, but whatever I do, I don't have steps for it. I just put both feet in it and just go on go.
And I'm glad you got into it because basically you're reaching the kids that seen you grow up.
2 years ago, I was at a place where I might have, could have went back into the streets. I lost my dad, my brother, all in 1 year. So a lot of things I was going through. So when MU did come to our community, I jumped on it, especially once I know what the program was about, what they had to offer, and I'm a people's person. I love helping people. So I just went with it, and it helped me too, to help me heal.
The turning point for me, I looked in the mirror, I was just tired. And I said, you know, I found myself what I didn't want to be. I found myself sounding like when I was a teenager, I used to listen to the older guys, like see friends on the street. Hey man, oh yeah, we was in Clinton together. Oh yeah, when I was up north. And I found myself sounding like that. I'm like, wait a minute, I sound like one of those. I'm becoming those guys that, yeah. Oh yeah, we was up north together. Oh yeah, I remember we was in Bear Hill, Arthur Kill, Washington. I'm naming prisons. I'm like, is this what my life became? So I had to change. You know, I had to be the change that I wanted to see.
You have those organizations who are going to welcome you in, who's going to put you to work, who's going to allow you not only to touch other people's lives, but also to transform and give back.
We want people to see us now for who we are, what we are. Like, we have always been here. You know, although we felt written off, counted out, ostracized, you know, we do a lot to make sure that people understand that, you know, we exist.
Dealing with this job, the trauma is when I have to go with the family and unzip the bag so they can identify their loved one. At the age of 12, I had to do that for my father and see him in a body bag. So that is trauma. It hurts. I cry with the family.
We know that if we're building a system, you have to take care of the players in that system. Very important. So if the cure violence groups are out there and they're diffusing situations, who's there to help them diffuse what's going on, trauma and mental health in their job? So the funding that the mayor actually was able to advocate for allows us to build out that system that says, hey, we understand what you're doing out there. What you're doing out there as a credible messenger is the work that needs to be done. But we're concerned about your mental health. We're concerned about your self-care. That is extremely important.
I cry sometimes because sometimes I feel alone, you know, so I wasn't working for 2 years, so I said, I got this job. I said, God had a purpose, and this is my purpose.
But sometimes I don't feel appreciative. Sometimes I feel like giving up, like why the hell I'm helping this person out, they don't give a damn. But it overrides that though, it's a success story.
So there's so many success stories that I've had over almost 20 years of working here at Man Up in the community of East New York, Brownsville, and abroad, where there's young people that was homeless, but by the time they finish the program, the 2-year program, they have their GED, they have their ID, they're working, they might be renting a room, or they have an apartment. We have, in some cases, we have some of the youth that are adults now that's in the Army, the Marines, became a nurse. So I'm optimistic because there's so much more that's being done outside of the violence.
Yeah, I put him onto the side. So we had a conversation, and from me listening to him and hearing his story, I see that when he grew up in a broken home and he was in a foster home, and he always had to fight for everything.
Right.
So when I heard his story, I understood why he was so difficult.
And angry.
He was so defensive, because if he didn't understand you, he was just like, "What? I'll fucking do this, I'll punch you in your face, I'll shoot you." And like the female staff, they were scared to deal with him. So once I learned how to handle him with like kid gloves on, I relayed that to the staff. But him, he was somebody that was totally unreachable.
Man, I'm proud of myself. I'm happy with the transition. It's very rewarding, and not just in a financial gain. Just my people that I have around me, the contacts, everything that comes. Like again, I'm moving different, and you know the accolades that I've accomplished, and the rewards that I get from the people, just praising how, you know, how I changed and how I helped people change, how I'm healing my community, how I'm providing employment for some of my peers, how I'm providing opportunity for the youth in the community. Just knowing me and my past, and for those that do know me, they look at me and they just be like, wow, like this is great.
I wanted to put myself in a position where I could give people jobs and opportunities and kind of uplift people's lives. So this is my passion.
I found James Dobbins. He was tabling at an event. And then I was like, what's this about? Guns Down Like Fuck. He was telling me what is it about, and I was interested. I volunteered for 6 months. Then he was like, you should work for me. I was like, it's impossible. At the age of 34, I got my first job ever. At 2 days before my birthday too. So that was the best. I loved it. And it changed my life. It really did. Like, I'm still learning. I'm 41. I'm still learning.
I mean, it feel good knowing that you did the work and you know why you're doing it. And I'm not doing it for a thank you. I'm really doing it because that's what I want to do. I mean that from my heart.
Listen, I can't even imagine anything like people that's doing shit like this, you know what I'm saying? In the middle, hey, you know what I'm saying? They didn't really have to care about us, but they do.
We want to teach people, you know, how to fish.
I didn't have these services, I didn't have these programs, I didn't have cure violence in the crisis management system. So that's what I've been thinking about these last few days. Like, you know, again, I'm honored to be able to sit here in front of you and share my story. But really thinking back, I'm like, you know, I didn't have this. If I'd have had this, my life would have been different.
If there was a program like Guns Down when I was growing up, I think I would have not lost half of my childhood.
I didn't feel that it was the purpose of living, but when I came to work here and started seeing these youth, I figured I do have a purpose.
I learned how to take the time out to actually hear somebody out.
That's right.
Not just listen, but to hear them out. And with me sitting down, talking to him, and letting him express his feelings.
That's right.
And then letting him express his feelings, and then me telling him about my history and my background. Then when he hear about it, he like, okay, he's more open.
it's so rewarding. So it's easy for me to be optimistic because even though there's some bad, there's so much more greater that's happening in Eastern New York, Brownsville. Right, yeah.
If you could take that courage and turn it around and say, you know what, I'm going to save lives, man, those are soldiers, man, they're invaluable.
I don't think they understood that, you know, when you press a person or people to, you know, into a corner, it can only make you better or worse. And in our case, it made us better.
When you could get some of your peers off the corner,
right,
from hustling, like that's big. I was like, yeah. So to see them transformation, that was like a win for myself also. So whenever I see somebody transform over to that other side, whether it's meant today or meant tomorrow, like that's a super win for me. And I go home, no matter what I go home, like,
yes, right.
Hey, like, sits off the corner, like, he's not doing this no more, like.
With dealing with these kids, and like I said, these individuals, when you see their success, their progress is amazing. That's the best part for me, the aftermath.
After I made that decision, nothing but positive. I came home, got married, went to school, I got my bachelor's degree. I landed this job and became a community leader. Instead of putting negative into the community, promoting positivity, surrounding myself around positive people. My life has been good since, you know. I sleep well at night.
The testimonies I use now is people that's been enrolled in our program, and they come back and talk about how they have jobs now, how all of our participants graduated to the next grade, they're in college. You know, it feels great. It keeps me going. I know it's 6 o'clock, yo.
I could talk about it because it helps me to understand that it was nothing that they did wrong, and that, you know, violence is a disease, and it's something that with love, patience, and being able to care about people, we can cure it. But everybody have to be willing to have that same model, the passion, the love, understanding that your neighbor is your relative, and protecting the young, protecting the old. You know, it could happen. Maybe not in my lifetime, but I'm sure that it could.
It's just the intentionality of the destruction of who we are. And the number one target, brother, you go across the globe, the most hated entity across the globe is the black man. I don't care where you go across the globe, man. Black men are catching hell no matter where you go. You know,
good? Yeah, I see you.
Hold on.
feel like when we was growing up, I said if this program like was around, our parents would have always got it.
You think that?
Why?
You think that?
Go down there.
This is what I needed when I was coming up in the 70s and in the 80s and all that. We needed this for us.